Well, guys, settle in. I've been feeling a little bit too optimistic about humanity these days. Things have been a little quiet on the internet as far as woke takes. So today we're going to change all of that by reacting to woke race TikToks, and we'll see how we do. Let's get into it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. You know I'm subjecting myself to some of the insanity that exists on the internet, and today is no exception. We're going to be responding to woke race TikToks, and we're starting off on theme, kind of. We all know this is the week of 4th of July. We're in 4th of July weekend as we speak, and this one is about how you can celebrate the 4th of July and the 4th of July weekend as a white person and what you should do for black people. Let's watch.
It's 4th of July weekend. There's so much to celebrate, right? No, there really isn't, because the truth of the matter is the freedom and independence that the 4th of July holiday is supposed to represent never included all Americans or all people in America.
What about now? What about now? Are you still saying you're not included in the freedom that is enjoyed on the 4th of July? The freedom that she is actively utilizing in this TikTok right now. I digress. Let's keep watching. I'm gonna have to pause this a million times. I can feel it now.
Right? So back in 1776, black folks were still enslaved. So that's not anything to celebrate. So what I want to challenge you to do this weekend, and you should really do this every single day if you want to live an anti-racist lifestyle, but specifically for this weekend, instead of spending all your money on the red, white, and blue everything, ask yourself, where am I benefiting from the labor of black people, and what am I giving to them in return? Whether it's free labor, unpaid labor like social media, or whether it's inequitable paid labor. Where are you benefiting from labor from us, and what are you giving in return? Usually, if it's for social media, you know, we give you specific directions on what to do after you consume our content. So do that today.
Do that today. If you're a white person and you're thinking about, I don't know, buying fireworks or those little poppets that you throw at the floor, or you want to buy a nice little American flag to put on your home, don't worry about it. Keep that money. Matter of fact, don't keep the money. Give it to black people for all of the labor that they contribute here in the United States. And, you know, just go broke. Go for broke giving your money to black people. When you show up at the bank and they ask, why are you filing for bankruptcy? Just say, my white guilt. And that banker will recognize how much of an ally you are towards the black community. And they'll give you another loan to start paying money out to all of the black people whose labor you use on a daily basis. Guys, this is too much for me. And I love how she takes whatever was happening in 1776 and uses that to justify the lack of celebration here in the year 2024 of the 4th of July. A lot was going on in 1776, a lot of crazy shit. Let's be honest, we had just barely discovered electricity. I think we can use a little bit of nuance and think about all the progress we've made since 1776, all the freedoms that she now gets to enjoy in this country since what took place on 1776, and think about a little bit of gratitude towards our country, right? Because it's just not the most awful life in the world to be black in America right now. In fact, it's the best life you could possibly have really anywhere on this planet. So I'm not understanding why we can't give a little gratitude towards this country. Believe it or not, black people get to enjoy a lot of freedoms in this country. And even now, they're kind of giving a leg up over other people. But we don't need to go there right now. We can move on. This next one is 10 ways you say the N-word without saying the N-word. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
10 ways you say the N-word without saying the N-word.
Oh my gosh, and our girl is back. I didn't even know that this was going to be the same woman. We can see the portraits in the back. Okay. She's just really doling out some education for us these days. Let's watch.
If you use any of these terms or phrases in reference to black people, you are just as racist as the person that actually uses the N-word.
Wow.
Here are the words.
Okay.
Thug, ghetto, welfare queen, lazy, race baiter, race grifter, threatening, angry, dangerous. Or you say that we're playing the victim or we are a diversity hire. What you actually mean to say is the N-word. Just stop it. If you say these words or phrases, you are calling us the N-word. If you say these ignorant racist terms or phrases around your children, you're also teaching your children to be racist just like you. So I have good news and bad news for you. Here's the bad news. You're not as non-racist as you thought you were, and you're certainly not anti-racist. Here's the good news. You can unlearn all the racist crap you've been taught and reject white supremacist ideologies that you've believed for your entire life. Now, if you're ready to do that and start becoming a part of the solution instead of a part of the problem, go to that link on my profile, sign up for my webinar replay, or do my 5-day challenge, because it's time to do better.
Woo! This video just reeks of condescension. Can you guys smell that? It's crazy. The amount of talking down that is happening in this TikTok is wild. Now let's unpack some of the words that she said. I don't know if I remember them all, but she says if you use the word thug, a diversity hire, race baiter, race grifter, angry to describe somebody who's black, I guess you're calling them the N-word. What happens when you use these words towards people of other races? Because these words are usable in different instances. I guess it only matters if you're saying it towards black people, which is just so emblematic of this type of woke person. Everything only matters when you're using it towards black people, and they internalize everything as some sort of racist act against them. I'm sorry, but there are black people who are thugs. There are black people who are race baiters and race grifters. There are black people who are angry. You can use those phrases without being accused of calling those people the N-word. And essentially what she's saying is that as black people, we should be free from any sort of criticism, because any sort of criticism or label that you place on us that we view in a negative light is equivalent to you saying the N-word and being a racist, which is how they safeguard themselves from having to take any accountability or responsibility for their actions, because you're the racist. They're not the problem. It's your criticism of them that is the problem. And now, not only do you have to be, against racism and not a racist in your own life, but you have to take it a step further and be something called anti-racist. And for those of you who don't know what anti-racist means, it means we make up a bunch of crazy rules that you have to submit to as a white person or as a non-black person. And if you don't listen to them, we will call you a racist and say that you're not actively leading a life that is stopping the problem of racism. And you can hear that sort of tone in everything that she said in these past 2 TikToks. You need to come to us for us to tell you how to lead your lives. You need to look to us for permission, for guidance, and we will tell you exactly what to do as white people, and you will follow that because, I don't know, your ancestors hurt us. And for some, if not most white people, that's not even the case. So it's just crazy that this is the world that we live in now. We got to move on though. And, speaking of permission and guidance, here is a black woman that's saying that white people need permission to comment on her social media posts.
If your skin is not brown, if you are not melanated, then you do not have the right to come under my videos talking back to my people. Your opinions are not wanted, nor are they relevant. Why do you feel like you need to come and keep saying something to my people? You need to ask me my permission before you speak or comment on my videos. You come under my video and say, Lord, may I please have your permission to say something. Then you wait for me to give you my permission before you start tapping, moving your little pasty fingers around on my page. You people have been talking way too much for way too long, and your time is officially up. It is Black Power forever.
Ooh, this is giving me PTSD. For those of you who don't know, I used to work for a left-leaning organization. You guys know I have a little Black Power vest on my arm here. Super cool. Got that when I was 16. Don't get tattooed when you're 16. When I was working there, one of the moments that really woke me up and made me realize, oh, I'm in a very racist environment is actually rhetoric like this. We had a meeting and somebody said, to all the white people in the room right now, maybe just don't talk to this meeting. Let the most oppressed people speak. You've spoken for long enough, which is exactly what this woman just said. And there is so many racist just isms, I guess, being used in this video. She's saying, my people, you people, your pasty fingers, referring to people as sort of a monolithic aggregate when it comes to white versus black. And I gotta say right now, do not lump me in with my people when you're making these TikTok videos, because I don't know you. And as far as what I've seen in this video, I don't support anything that you're saying. So I am not your people in the same way that all white people are not, they're people. It just doesn't make sense to lump all these people together. And that is in fact the very definition of racism. You're gonna see more racism in these videos than you see out in the world when Black people are claiming to experience it. So this just, again, blows my mind. And we have that same through line of you need my permission now as a Black person in order to even speak. Yet at the same time, they'll accuse white people of existing within this power structure, a hierarchy where they are at the top. Really? If white people are at the top of the hierarchy, would they need to ask your permission to speak to you? I don't think so. So I don't know where this argument about power and racism really comes to play when this is the way that a lot of Black activists are acting. You do not need permission to speak to somebody. You do not need permission to hop in their comment section. And quite honestly, these are the comment sections that need people going and saying something about how racist this sort of rhetoric actually is. So keep it up. I mean, the attitude on that one. Woo! Oh my gosh, she's a peach. Next one. Okay. We got 2 more to go, guys. Let's make it through.
White people, what's so hard about saying excuse me? Quickly. Questions that need answers. Why are y'all so afraid to say excuse me? Are y'all afraid of saying excuse me to Black people? Do y'all also not say excuse me to each other? Like, why are you so comfortable with just standing behind someone for minutes on end waiting for them to move rather than just saying, excuse me, I want to get past?
Okay, well, at least that one was short, sweet, and to the point. But again, with the condescension, answer quickly. Answer quickly. I have to think about this one because I've met a lot of people of all races who don't say excuse me, who could use a little bit of teaching in the manners department, and maybe they skipped that in their childhood, and now I'm dealing with it in their adulthood. But, if I truly had to think about it and pick a race of people that fails to say excuse me the most, it would not be white people. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. As far as manners are concerned, I don't think white people are taking the cake in the lack thereof competition. I'll just say that. Now, again, this is just straight up racism towards a specific group of people. And I think when you view the world through the lens of race in this way and through this hierarchy of white people being at the top and Black people being at the bottom, what you'll start to do is see white people who maybe don't have manners and they're treating you in some type of way or they're not saying excuse me, and you'll recognize those instances more than you recognize them from other races because it's what you're looking for. The lens through which we view the world is really important. And if your lens is that white people are the oppressors, they're rude, they lack manners, they have power over us, they don't appreciate the work that we do, you're going to notice rudeness from white people more than you notice it from any other race. And then you get videos like this. And had you made this video about any other race, I think people would have had a lot to say. But in this world, we can be as racist as we want towards white people and nothing comes of it because they are the punching bags of modern society. Now, this last one, I thought we'd do something a little bit more complex. Within the realm of wokeness, you have this idea of intersectionality, that not only do you exist in, one marginalized group, but there are different marginalized groups based on other characteristics, and you can exist in 2 at the same time. Now, this one is going to make the claim that fatphobia, that I guess larger people experience or people within the body positivity movement experience, is in fact linked to racism. Okay, so you can exist in the intersection of Blackness and fatness, and they all just connect with one another in this beautiful realm of bigotry. Let's watch this lady break it down. And this is a familiar face. We reacted to many of her videos on this channel.
Fatphobia should make you uncomfortable because it is intertwined with every single other system of oppression that exists. It is related to sexism, racism, homophobia, xenophobia, classism. And so when you talk about one, you talk about it all. Which is why I say it is irresponsible, disrespectful, and hateful to come on this app and be fatphobic.
Whoa.
And that is all I have to say on the matter. Because I've already said too much on the matter.
I have a feeling that's not all she has to say. Again, considering that we're only halfway through the video, I think she's going to say a lot more.
And people are not uncomfortable enough for me.
Freudian slip.
They're too comfortable.
Just a regular slip, actually. I think she's just being pretty straightforward. She wants people to be uncomfortable.
And I know it talked about ushering people to their seats, sitting people down, but I need you all to get up out of your seats and stop being so complicit and complacent when it comes to fat phobia. Stand up and show up. Learn something. And to learn, you need to unlearn. And it shouldn't be on us to teach you.
Got
But
it.
it is on you to stop spewing hateful, false, fatphobic rhetoric. And furthermore, being tolerable of it. Thank you.
Gosh. Again, with the condescension, it's so crazy. Through every single video, you get this very similar activist attitude that just, for some reason, they all have, which is crazy. And I love this idea of we're not the ones who have to teach you this. I know we made this up. Like, I know we made up things like critical race theory and critical feminist theory and fat phobia this, body positivity that. We made up this ideology, but it's not on us to teach you the thing that we made up. So now you must venture out into the world and go and learn something that in fact doesn't make any sense at all and that we fabricated, but we're not going to be the ones to teach you it. Absolutely insane. And let's speak to this idea that fat phobia and racism are intertwined. Since we're going to stay in the realm of race, I won't even venture into some of the other examples that she gave. But there's this idea that with fat phobia and people who call out, you know, health at any size and this sort of rhetoric about fat and the health of it, that you are in fact being racist towards Black people. And I'll explain why they think this. They think that fatness and that sort of thick body type is basically synonymous with being Black, and specifically with being a Black woman. So if you are calling out fatness or saying that it's unhealthy or saying that there's not health at any size, it's because you are racist towards Black people and Black women in particular that you're saying these things. It's because you hate the Black body type or the stereotypical Black body type that you are now being fatphobic. And I imagine this is an argument that this young woman would make because I've seen it several times on TikTok and other platforms. And I just want to let people know that this is actually condescending towards Black people. If you equate Blackness and fatness, you have a problem. There is no such thing as the really like the fat Black body type, although we may see that a lot in today's time in our year 2024. It's really not the case. If you look back at like America in the 1950s, 60s, all people of all different colors hanging out together, there was just a general healthiness that we don't see in today's time. And you'll see that Black people looked a lot like white people, pretty much the same healthy body type, but now we equate this like thickness with Blackness. And she's going to make the claim that if you hate Black people, then that's the reason that you're being fatphobic towards her as well, that these two things intersect in some sort of beautiful middle point where you get to not only be fatphobic, but racist at the same time. And to that, I'm just like, how dare you? How dare you make that claim about Black people? And how dare you weaponize that claim as a means of shutting down people who have valid concerns about the health and wellness of our society? And I don't really believe in this whole intersectionality thing that people are putting out there, but you are going to hear this argument made many a time from this point on. I am calling it now. Guys, I don't know that I have that much more to say about these things. These are ridiculous. I'm done. Luckily, that was our last one. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these videos. Drop them in the comments down below. Did you agree with anything said in these videos? Should we pay Black people on the week of 4th of July? I'm half white and half Black, so I guess my payment is canceled out there. I guess I do nothing. Do we need to start thinking about the different ways in which we're saying the N-word without saying it? Should white people get permission from Black people in order to comment on their posts? Do you guys have a problem with saying, excuse me, the white people listening right now? Has that been an issue for you? And how do you feel about the intersection between fatphobia and racism? Let me know. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, you can duke it down in the comments down below, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video. video for you guys, which is every day. And let me know what type of TikTok I should respond to next. Should we do fatphobia TikToks? Should we do xenophobia TikToks? Should we do, I don't know, feminism TikToks? Drop it in the comments down below. I love reading your suggestions and hopefully we can implement them, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. I have indeed lost that optimism that I had for humanity at the beginning of this video, so that's fun. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.